Hello, my name is Scott Stallman, and I'm the provost of Dunwoody College of Technology, located in Minneapolis, Minnesota. If you have a higher education background, you might have heard of Dunwoody in your graduate school work. We're one of the oldest technical colleges in the country. We were founded in 1914 through funds left by William and Kate Dunwoody to found a college, in their words, to provide for all time a place where youth, without distinction on account of race, color, or religious prejudice, may learn the useful trades and crafts and thereby fit themselves for the better performance of life's duties. We honor those words today. We are a private, nonprofit college dedicated to preparing students for high pay, high demand fields. And to continue to honor our mission, we constantly evaluate ways that we can better serve our students and the industries that hire them. Today, we are proud to present to you two online completion programs, a NAB accredited BArch, or Bachelors of Architecture, and a Bachelors of Construction Management program. Both programs are one of only a handful of programs of their kind in the country, and we believe our programs are the greatest value, provide the greatest flexibility and quality to your graduates. We specifically designed the program for graduates of AAS technical programs like yours who have struggled to find pathways that lead to being licensed architects or to lead to higher paying, higher positions with greater responsibility within the construction field. I'll now hand things over to Bridget Reynolds, our Dean of Construction Sciences and Building Technology, to lead us through the presentation today. And I'll be back at the end to go over some frequently asked questions that folks have had regarding these programs. We hope you find this recording informative, and we hope you'll reach out to discuss any articulations or student information sessions that you'd like to move forward with in the future. Bridget?
Thank you, Scott. As Scott said, I'm Bridget Reynolds, Dean of Construction Sciences at Dunwoody. Here at Dunwoody, we are first and foremost educators, and we're very excited to present these two options to you today. It's important that you know how much we value technical education. As the birthplace of technical education in this country, it's at the heart of what we do. And like you, we also found no easy path forward for our students and our alums who, after being successful in a two-year degree or out working in the real world, wanted to continue their education. So we decided to build it ourselves, with the flexibility for students to continue the project-based education philosophy that they know and are comfortable with. We know many of your programs provide various options for entry into the construction and architecture world. That's why it's important that we created both a construction management and an architecture pathway for our students. Our accreditors and our professional partners are as excited about this format as we are. Offering these degrees online means more opportunities for students around the country to follow their passion, and most importantly, it means diversifying our respective professions. As you read, our format includes a block transfer of technical classes, as well as the transferability of general education courses. The online courses will be offered synchronously in the evening, so students and alumni can work while learning. All students receive a laptop loaded with all the software they need for the program. And for those of you who don't yet know Dunwoody, let me introduce Kelly O'Brien, our Director of Admissions.
Hey everybody, my name is Kelly O'Brien, Director of Admissions here. A leader in hands-on applied technical education. Dunwoody prepares students for high-skill, in-demand career fields. That tradition will continue as the college expands into the online learning space. Dunwoody has always had a strong affinity with two-year institutions. Dunwoody has been around for 107 years. We started as an associate's degree focused institution and understand the importance those play in industry in our community. We deeply respect the work that community colleges do, and we have a desire to help by offering your students a path for continuing education after graduating with their associate's degrees from your institutions. We know that the skills gap is a national issue, and so we are entering the marketplace with these two completion programs, which we are really excited about. The next slide shows that our graduates are in high demand. So rest assured that your students will be transferring into a college that puts an emphasis on placement and ensuring that our graduates are getting the exposure that they deserve. As the next slide shows, we are very proud of our reputation and our commitment to excellence. U.S. News Best College Rankings list Dunwoody at number 25 overall in the Midwest region. #2 in the Midwest region in the ranking of the best colleges for veterans. Payscale.com has also ranked Dunwoody the #1 college in Minnesota based upon mid-career cap earnings. We look forward to working with all of you and continuing that legacy as we move into online programs. And with that, I will turn it over to John Dwyer, Associate Professor in Architecture, who will cover the Bachelor of Architecture completion degree.
Thank you, Bridget, Scott, and Kelly. We started the Bachelor of Architecture degree here at Dunwoody in 2013, and it was in response to 3 diverging forces. First, we were seeing the construction industry rebound at a very rapid rate. At the same time, we were seeing our industry in architecture, our profession, rebound at a much slower rate. And most notably, we were seeing a steady decline in the enrollment throughout NAB schools across the country. We know this will have a lasting effect on our profession as we continue to try to maintain a strong relevance towards shaping a better world. Our response here at Dunwoody was to shape a degree that would serve our students who wish to continue forward, as well as all students who wish to continue forward from 2-year degrees in architectural education across the country. The structure is a +3 integrated path to architectural licensure, where students have the opportunity to work, gain experience, and take the registration exams while going through their 3 years, complete with levels of mentorship and advising that help them along that path to licensure. The curriculum itself stems from an even deeper issue, which we began to discover and are becoming more and more increasingly aware of as we progress as a profession. At each stage, from high school to leadership within our profession homogenizes itself. The need to diversify our profession is now paramount and imperative to our ability to be relevant in the built world. We see this as having 3 very distinct goals. It is ethical, it is the right thing to do, it makes our work better, and it makes the world better. And when we examine all the many ways that we may look at diversity, all the many categories in which we may see it, you can see very clearly how many of these come from the many 2-year programs that do such an enormous work and such a great job at mitigating and fostering diversity throughout their programs. Our response to this is a reshaped curriculum that we believe is an equitable and inclusive curriculum, one that gives great flexibility of schedule, very few sequential courses. Only the studios in the new curriculum are sequential. All others are able to be taken at any sequence, and also obviously providing many different delivery methods, online, in-person, and hybrid models. The other converging force that has happened for us is the shift in NAB conditions, which has allowed us to open up bulk transfer for transfer credits for students who are coming from 2-year institutions. So we are now able to easily transfer a great deal of credits in with minimal admissions criteria that allow us to continue students on that 3-year path to architectural licensure coming from many of your programs. The other great way that we believe in fostering and forwarding our agenda of diversifying the profession is to provide our students and your students with great opportunities for diverse experiences. We do this through many of our partnerships around the world and projects that come from them. Among those projects are the Davyton Crossroads project with the Organization for Strategic Development of Jamaica. This is in rural Jamaica, where we're exploring the design and construction of a community center that can support many of the community opportunities that do not exist in this part of the country, as well as forwarding their own objectives towards sustainability. We also are partnering with organizations in the south of Puerto Rico, particularly Ponce Neighborhood Housing Services, to provide new models for resiliency within a largely self-built community in a post-Hurricane Maria climate in Puerto Rico. We also are doing work with our local homeless community in collaboration with our medical communities to provide better transitional models for housing for the homeless. And we are working with global food security systems, working with Frogtown Farm here in St. Paul to develop a new community food centers that provide education and forward the agenda toward food security. And lastly, I leave you with an aspirational hope that we certainly intend one day to all gather again, even, and I would say especially in the online cohorts that we are developing, that we may come together, we may design together, we may build together, and we may continue to work toward making a better world. The last thing I will say about the importance of our approach to diversity is our ability to be cross-collaborative and multidisciplinary. And one of the programs that we love to collaborate with is construction management. So with that, I will turn you over to our program manager for construction management, Heather Gay.
Thank you so much, John, for the introduction. And thank you for all of the speakers that we've had before. And I want to thank everybody who is joining us to listen to this conversation. When we looked at what we could do for the bachelor's completion degree in construction management, the approach that we took was to be able to say that we will take any program that has a construction-related degree, so whether that's interior design, architectural technology, construction management, HVAC tech, as long as it's an associate's degree, and we will build on that to complete their degree in 2 years. We've created the program to be as flexible as possible. The students can be full-time or part-time. And the structure for the program is that they can attend synchronous classes. So the classes will be in real time with a mixture of asynchronous classes that are running to help round out their education. On the next slide, you'll see some examples of what our schedule will look like moving forward. Please note that this might be adjusted over time as we see what student participation and student needs are. But our sample schedule for each semester is a Tuesday, Thursday, and every other Friday week approach. And so this allows students to have their working schedules still work in the daytimes and to still have a few days at nighttime where they can handle life. So many of the students at Dunwoody are non-traditional, and I know that is the approach that many of you have with the students in your areas. On the next slide, I've demonstrated just a sample of some of the creative approaches that students have taken to projects. So this is an example from a capstone project that the students have done. And one of the things that's amazing about the +2 completion degree for construction management is that you see a diversity of experiences. And so that creates a very rich environment for the students to learn from each other as well as from faculty. So this site design was actually developed by a student who had a degree in landscape architecture first, and then came over to join us in construction management. And this really enriched the process for the students who were working on this project, which was a multi-family, multi-home development capstone project that they did. On the next slide, there's some images of what our students look like. As you can see, our students are diverse. They are not generally a traditional 18-year-old student coming through. And that richness of experience really helps them as they work and learn from each other. This slide also has an example of one of the rolled up estimates that students have done in their complete course for advanced estimating. The next slide is another image of more coursework that the students have done. This is a site layout for a project where they were looking at doing how to best approach the overall site design on this project. And then on the bottom, you see a rolled up schedule as well. And with that, I will hand this over to Bridget so she can talk about the transfer process.
Thank you, Heather. It's so great to hear about all the flexibility that have been designed into these degrees. And with that comes questions from students about how does my degree actually transfer into this degree? So we offer a number of different options for students. The first is that the students can request a pre-evaluation of their transcript. And with that, they can also request an official review once they have applied. In addition, at any point in time, they can reach out to our team to inquire about any classes that they have questions about, whether that is their technical courses or whether that is their general education courses.
Dunwoody takes a holistic approach to each student so that we will make sure that each of your transfer students are paired with an admissions counselor that will help with all the admissions requirements. In addition, they will also have access to a first-class financial aid department who can get a plan together for each student that will have options for funding their education, including covering grants, loans, and any potential scholarships. Dunwoody gave away over $2 million in scholarships last year, and Dunwoody does not charge out-of-state tuition. The next slide shows how easy it is for each student to apply at Dunwoody. Applying is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Students fill out an online application, send in their official transcripts, and chat with an admissions counselor to make sure that this is the right fit. Our fall semester starts on August 30th, so we do have an application deadline of July 31st in order to ensure that students can receive their laptops in time and complete any onboarding prior to the start. We look forward to be able to connect with your students to chat about this opportunity. The next slide shows that we have some student information sessions scheduled, and we encourage any of your students to attend. Our first virtual student information session is scheduled for April 27th at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. We are also offering one on May 13th and June 15th, but are more than happy to arrange a time to meet with you and your students outside of these dates if it works better for you. With that, I will turn it back over to our provost, Scott Stallman.
Thank you. We definitely get some questions over and over again regarding these programs, and here's some common ones that get asked, and the faculty can go ahead and answer them as they're asked. This one is pertaining mainly to architecture. It's regarding math requirements and how it can often be a hang-up from community college to community college, transferring to oftentimes a 4-year bachelor's degree architecture program. Do they require calculus? Do they not? And John Dwyer, if you could speak to what our requirements are in that area and how we handle mathematics.
Thank you, Scott. Yes, that is a great question and definitely a common one. And I'm certain that many of us have heard even high school students say, I don't think I can be an architect. I'm not good at math. And the truth is that math is not a strong requirement. Here at Dunwoody, we do have arts and sciences or general studies requirements that come from our state, but they simply are a certain number of credits in each category, one of them being math and natural sciences. So we do not require specific math courses. We certainly do not require any sort of calculus courses. Some ability in mathematics is required to be able to be successful at doing some level of structural design. But our program focuses not on structural engineering, just on an understanding of the structural design and how to collaborate with the structural engineer. So the math requirement is very open.
Great. Is there anything that a community and technical college could do to with our curriculum to better align so our students can transition into these programs more easily?
I can start on that. Sure. Well, I would say one of the first things that we could do is have a call with John and I, where we look at what your curriculum is. Most of us John and I have both done many reviews of the college's curriculums, so we've got a really good idea of what the structure is as it is. But sometimes there's classes where we have a question, and so we'll go back and forth on it. We're happy to look at what curriculum you have and whether it's advantageous for a student to take, for example, ethics, or for a student to take a specific codes class to ensure that there is a really good alignment. But for the +2 in construction management, we treat everything as a block. So we're going to take the credits that the students did, and we're going to just apply it to the +2 completion degree. So they're not losing any time.
And I will just add to that too, to the great benefit of a bulk credit transfer that is available to us because of changes in architecture and changes in NAB, changes at ACSA, changes in NCARB that all allow us to be able to do this bulk transfer. So the need for community colleges to begin changing their curriculum to match ours is much, much lower than it ever has been, and the flexibility of transfer is much higher. So we're happy to as Heather said, talk through how transfer evaluations may look for your students. But the need for the curriculum at community colleges to change is less than it ever has been.
Okay, great. I think this one's for Heather. I know that your programs are going for ACCE accreditation. Does that mean that the community college program has to be ACCE accredited as well, that the students transferring in from?
No, it does not at all. That's, I think, one of the great parts about our approach is that we don't require the associate's level programs to have accreditation outside of whatever their state requires.
Great. I think the next question would be for probably a couple for Kelly. What's the tuition and how long will community college students have to wait, or community college graduates, I should say, have to wait after their application is complete?
Great questions. Our tuition is right around $22,500 per year. And the turnaround time for a completed application is very, very quick. So once I receive an application and we receive all the applicable college and high school transcripts to go along with that application, that student will get an answer within 1 week.
I think the next question is for John. Studio courses online. Is that how do you do that? Obviously, if this whole BARC is online, you're going to have some studio courses, and I'm just curious how that's done.
Sure, yes. And if you had asked me that 2 years ago, I would say it's not possible. But the pandemic has shown us how possible that really is. And the success that we've had over the past year in producing strong studio student work has been beyond impressive to me. So we've developed a lot of great skills that and tools that have allowed us to, and technologies that have allowed us to be able to teach in a studio culture that is very much of the same quality that we provide in person. And we are continuing to evolve what we have as a studio culture policy that is written collaboratively with the students into what is now a learning and teaching culture policy. This is one of the things that we do with our accreditors. It's one of the things that we do with our student groups, AIS and NOMAS, in order to create that common respect, that common work-life balance, the common individual and collaborative development that happen in a studio culture. So that's very much maintained online.
Okay. And oftentimes during a presentation like this, there are important dates given. I know that people, you forget to write down. So Kelly, what are the important dates that people should really know coming away from this session?
Well, again, I'll just reiterate that we do have those student information sessions coming on up. The first one is April 27th, and that's 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then we have a follow-up one on May 13th and yet another one on June 15th. So that's going to be a great opportunity for us to be able to connect with you and your students. And once again, if those times don't work, we're more than happy to schedule a time outside of those dates to meet at your convenience. And then just another date to keep in mind is that we do have a deadline of July 31st for the students in these programs, just to make sure that we can send out their laptops and make sure that they're prepared for all the online boarding or the online onboarding that they'll be doing here before they start on August 30th.
Okay, one last question before I hand it over to Bridget to close us out. What about acronyms? If our acronyms for our courses don't match your acronyms for your courses, does that matter? Is that going to cause our students problems in transferring? No? Take it that that's a no. Terrific.
No, that's
All
a
right.
no. I wasn't sure if you were asking Bridget or Heather, so I just stayed quiet.
Okay. Bridget, if you want to go ahead and close us out.
Thanks, Scott. And thank you, everyone, for answering those questions that we get asked all the time. If you have any additional questions and are interested in how your degree would transfer into our Bachelor of Architecture or our Bachelor of Science in Construction Management, please reach out to either myself, John Dwyer in Architecture, or Heather Gay in Construction Management. And if you know that your degree program really does provide two pathways forward in both architecture and construction management, we are happy to gather together to talk about how your degree fits into both of those pathways. So thank you again for watching our recorded session, and please reach out if you have any additional questions.